Welcome to the Red Raider Coaches Show. We're going to talk to Coach Cofer today a little bit about Jeff Davis, a little bit about Videa, a little bit about the prep for both teams, and a little bit more information that Coach may want to share with us. Coach, first thing, updates. What about injuries left over and from Friday night? We got anything that's worth even reporting?
Yeah, bumps and bruises right here and there. Metris Williams, knees a little bit swollen, sore on him. He got it dislocated back when he was younger. Just kind of bothered him if he gets hit on it sometimes, but kind of hindered him a little bit in practice this week and kind of slowed him down, but he's a go for this Friday. Jacob Carver wasn't even supposed to play Friday, had a fit to play, so we played him on a series or two. He was definitely a spark for us Friday, but he's still bummed up. He's beat up a little bit all over, both shoulders and both knees. So we'll see if we can play him or not, but we don't want to ruin him for the future and the playoffs and stuff like that. But if he can go Friday, we'll do that. But Trent Hardy's out for the rest of the year, and then Brody Fitchett, he's week by week, but he's still out. So need some of those guys back to heal up, but had a pretty good week so far.
And Aubrey, I know his hand, he seemed to be fine Friday night.
Yeah, he gets beat up on Friday nights, but usually by Monday he's working it out. So we're pretty good.
All right, we'll give a shout out to our church of the week.
Yeah, First Nazarene fed us on Friday afternoon. We appreciate that. Good pork chops, man, and good people over there. We sure did appreciate it. It was good food. Actually got to eat some of that after the game.
So you got an after-game meal too.
We had a little after-game meal that was just as good. So we appreciate it. First Baptist Church, of course, feeding us every Friday morning. We sure do appreciate them. And I want to throw a shout out too for the cheerleaders and the cheerleading sponsors. Always supplying these kids and these coaches with Gatorades and got some candy and chips and stuff like that for them on Friday. We don't usually let them eat a lot of it before the game, but they sure do tear it up the following Monday or after the game. So we sure do appreciate their support. And they have a competition Saturday at Tifton. I want to give a shout out to them also, and our girls softball team today playing Screven County in the playoffs.
Yeah, at 4:30 and at 6:30.
That's right.
And two, it eluded me last week, and I forgot to mention it, but we did the previous game, not this Friday night, the previous game, we did a special for Coach Duck, and honoring Coach Duck and what he's done for this community and for the football program and sports in general for the youth in this community. He was honored that night, a scholarship named in his honor. And if you see him, just tell him you appreciate him and you love him, and he's just done a lot for this community, and we just want everybody and want him to know how much this community really appreciates him.
He's a good man, but I want to throw this in there too. Your man right here, Shane Bennett and Steve Owens, got acknowledged and supported this past Friday night for their contributions to this year's senior football players and stuff like that, because they started with these guys and coached some of these guys back in the day, and we appreciate all Steve Owens and Shane's done for these guys.
Coach, getting ready for Jeff Davis, I'd like to say welcome to the Jeff Davis rivalry. I know if you're, it's hard to say you come in as a rivalry game, but
right.
you come into, you can't fully appreciate it until what happens Friday night happens.
Yeah,
and understand that's why that's there.
Yeah, and usually I'm good at shutting my mouth. Sometimes, but I'll let it go in this show about what I thought. But yeah, it's definitely a rival game. The fans definitely get into it on Jeff Davis's side, coaches and their players. I'd go ahead and tell you, I'll be honest, and I don't care who sees this or not, but I didn't appreciate some of the things that were said to our players, by their fans, a couple of their coaches. And the way their kids played hard. I did like that. I thought they were well coached in what they did. I give them all the props in the world, offensively, defensively, everything. From watching film from last year and this year, total difference. I thought they were coached well. I think it just got out of hand with late hits. I've been watching it every game. Told the head official before the game, they're doing that in every game film that I see, and it continued. And it got to the point, I think in the second quarter where it was happening so much, I lost my cool a little bit. I just didn't want one of our kids hurt for no reason because they're getting slammed down and somebody comes in there with a helmet after the play, and I lost it a little bit right there. But thank the Lord, the referee started calling some personal fouls or some penalties here and there, and we kept our cool. Very proud of our kids for for doing that. Showed a lot of discipline on our part. Very proud of them, so I can't say enough about ours.
Marked improvement on our kids because that they didn't do anything to retaliate with all that. That was a great thing to see. So.
Right.
Was anything different this week getting ready for Jeff Davis, keeping the hype down? This is another game. It was just business as usual.
Yeah, it was business as usual. I didn't notice anything different besides people in the community, saying stuff or anything like that. Kids didn't mention it. Of course, they're not going to mention a lot of things at 5 o'clock in the morning when we practice. Right. But even during the day, didn't hear a lot of that. When it got to be game time, you could tell there was a little bit different atmosphere right there between both, and so you could tell it was a rival game. But yeah, I got the full effect of that, and we're in it now. The whole coaching staff is in it, and we know what it's about. It's fun. It's what makes high school football kind of fun. But it's bragging rights, I guess, for a year. Like you do. Some of those you'll lose, some of those you'll win. But thankfully, we won that one. So it puts us a little bit better in playoff seeding. So, we got some more games to win. We got 3 more very important games.
Right. Well, before we take a quick break too, and if you don't watch the games, the same network that you watch these coaches show on, they do a top 5. NFHS network does a top 5. We had top 3 play that interception. We'll get into that in a minute. That was ran back for a 102-yard interception. That made top 3 on NFHS network. So if you get a chance, go to BCTV. That link will be there, and you can kind of watch it. But we'll take a quick break. First, we want to pay for the show. We want to thank Bennett Johnson and Miles Auto Sales for supporting us and making this possible on a weekly basis. And we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, Coach, let's break down JD a little bit before we get into Videa. JD, I guess the biggest stat, 57 total plays to our 31 total plays. Right. 236 yards, 223 on our part. I mean, stat-wise, it shouldn't have been 40-14, but I mean,
right.
And I think in my mind, we talked about earlier, my biggest thing is we didn't touch the football in the second half until 9:32 left in the fourth quarter.
Right, and that was one of my worries right there. Is that's their game plan, and it worked for them for the most part. I mean, that's how you can stay in ball games with wing tee and stuff like that. And for us, the way we play and play fast, you got to get first downs to make things work. Right. Sometimes you're going to leave your defense out there to hang, and we really didn't do that Friday night. We just didn't have an opportunity in the third quarter whatsoever. We did score, but that was with an interception return. But I thought offensively we did pretty well. It was just having that opportunity to score. And we're big on the number of plays that we run. We're not worried about the time of possession, so to say. Sometimes we'll score quick, like on the first series, we scored pretty quick. I think it was like 4 plays. And we scored quick. Sometimes it's going to happen that way, but we want to run a lot of plays to wear them down. Well, they kept the ball, which is good for them, and kept it away from us and ran down the clock. So they spent all that time on the clock with their offense, and they gashed us a little bit here and there and kept the ball away from us. And, if we hadn't had that interception return, it kind of changed the game, and then got the 2-point conversion right after that. But had big runs by Tron. Tron returned the kickoff, 85 yards for a touchdown after they had scored the first time. He also had that 45, I think, or 50-yard run right there on the first series of the game to do that. He did some big things, so we appreciate Tron having a great game. And then, drove it back down right there before halftime when it's tied up 14-14, and put one in the end zone with about 2 minutes left. And that was huge. That gave us a little bit of momentum going into halftime. We didn't think that they could stop our offense. Offense had the confidence. They had that swagger that we're talking about. It was just getting that defense and making sure we were right. We gave up a play action pass right there that we shouldn't have. We just fell asleep. And that's what the wing tee is going to do to you. They run about 9 times in a row and then pop you with a pass, and they did it. And I know the Brant Smith, the offense coordinator, Miss Trudy Smith up here that teaches with us, is her husband. He's offense coordinator, does a great job over there at Jeff Davis, and he knows how to run the offense. Coached against him when he was at Elbert County in the playoffs, and they beat us when I was at Cook. So he definitely knows what he's doing. He's a very smart man and knew when to throw that pass. But Vontae runs that interception back. We get the 2-point conversion. Coach Connor made that call right there to do that on the water bucket. and big time right there. And then we score again. I don't even remember how we scored. I think it was a pass to big man, and right there got us to 35. And let me explain the last touchdown just a little bit. And I'm not one. I've been taught. My mom would slap me upside the head if I tried to embarrass a young man from another team or a coach like that. I thought things got out of hand. We got the ball back with 3 minutes and something to go in the fourth quarter. We're up 35-21. I really didn't feel like running our running backs up in there and getting them pounded again or something breaking out. And I thought, we're going to take a shot at the end zone right here. Like I said, I didn't like things that were being portrayed on the other side of the field from us. Might come back to haunt me one day, but I just thought that we needed that and needed to just put the game out of reach for good.
I firmly agree with you every bit.
And just shut everything down and shut it up. And Tron comes up with a big catch right there and makes it 40. So that was big. I'm very thankful that nothing broke out after the game. A rival game can get out of hand, but it looked like some hatred on their side. I don't know what it was. I've been a part of rivalry games forever, but sometimes it's a respect thing. Most of the time it's a respect thing after the game, and there just wasn't a whole lot. And I had never been a part of something that drastic right there where I thought something was going to break out because of something like that. But, I don't like those kind of situations. But like I said, our kids and coaches handled themselves well. Very proud of that. And that's the way we want to conduct ourselves from here on out.
Well, talking about the positive, those two fade routes to a big man on the left side of the field and then Tron back on the right, those were two beautiful plays. I know that all that practice paid off on those two.
Yeah, man, we practice that stuff daily, and Dalton Almon's on the other side of that camera right there, and we throw that thing up to Dalton out there. He's more of our short yardage and possession receiver type, but anytime we can get big man and Tron in the game at the same time right there to do some damage, we're going to do it. But we work on that. Aubrey didn't get a lot of playing time in the second half. Of course, nobody got any playing time in the third quarter on offense. And so that fourth quarter right there was mostly Drell trying to basically run down the clock a little bit. Let's get out of here so nobody gets hurt, killed out here, and let's get out of here. But, he took over running the horseman package that we like to run. But, anytime you got a 6'3" receiver and another athletic receiver like big man, you're going to throw it up to him sometimes, and those DBs are going to get tired. We took advantage of it. So it was an awesome thing.
Yeah, I went back over after the game and looked where big man caught that ball, and I don't know how he got his foot in with that. I mean, the mark was still there where he just within inches got his foot in. Well, that was a great play.
Yeah, it did. I thought it was two good throws by Drell.
Yeah, perfect throw.
I think Drell had thrown two other fades. Sometimes you're not going to hit them all sometimes, but you got to put that worry into folks.
Right.
And they were crowding the box. They had 8 in the box plus a safety right behind them, so that's 9. And it was one-on-one right there with those receivers, and we'll kind of take that matchup anytime we can get it most of the time. So took advantage of it and wanted to do that. And kind of just put, no doubt left in there. So
put the stat marker on there.
That's it.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and that's all we need to talk about Jeff Davis for another year. And we will talk about Vidalia and what we need to do to get ready and what we're doing to get ready. We'll be right back. All right, Coach, big week this week. I guess every game from now on is a big week. It doesn't matter who it is. 3 weeks left. We've got ourselves in a log jam up at the top. I know nobody in the state of Georgia gives us a chance against Vidalia, and I preface that by saying nobody gave Vidalia a chance against Benedictine.
Right.
And I'll say, you may disagree, we didn't have our best game against Benedictine. Not saying that we still would have won the game, but we didn't have that. Where do you stand? Where do the boys stand? What's the demeanor coming into this week, getting ready? As far as we're going to go to Vidalia and try to win this thing.
Yeah, you can't. I've kind of almost given up on trying to read kids during the week. I learned that a few years ago. They don't act the same way that we did when we played. I was one of those quiet types that I was focused. I knew what was ahead. I played maybe a little bit at the beginning, but I kind of knew throughout the week these guys are totally different. They don't go to sleep. They don't get quiet on game days too much. it's just a different time period, different phase. But you know, Vidalia's a good team. I mean, they're definitely. We feel fortunate that we can, you know, we can be that up there at the top right now. We have a shot to do that, and we're going to take advantage of it. I'll go ahead and tell you, our mentality and my mentality right here, we got nothing to lose.
Exactly.
And you know, they're a number 2 playing another number 2 team in the state in AA, and shoot, that's how you get better. We've been preaching that since day one. I'll always think that. I've been taught by some of those guys. You know, Coach Probst over there at Colquitt County says the same thing. You're not going to get any better playing cupcakes. You got to play the good teams. Even if you take a loss during the year, it makes you better come playoff time. And that's what we want to do. And you know, Vidalia watching on film, this is the first time I've stated it many times. I don't look at anybody else unless we just watching them play somebody that we're going to play in the future. I hadn't seen the first Vidalia film until Saturday morning. Didn't watch it. Didn't want to watch them until then. I actually thought Benedictine would win, but then seeing Vidalia and the kids that they have, the scheme that they run offensively and defensively, they're a good football team, very good. They do a great job up there. Running a wing tee, got a heck of a quarterback that runs a veer. They'll run buck sweep with some guys, power, belly, and some play action. They don't throw it but about 4 times, kind of like what Jeff Davis does. But when they do, they're catching. You'll fall asleep, and that's what our biggest worry is we can sit up there and get content with playing the run, and then they pop one over you. And that's basically what the wing tee's for. But they do a great job. We keep that quarterback and big number 13 contained and hit the belly in the mouth. I think we'll be pretty good. You know, offensively, we just have to do what we got to do. I think, you know, we can throw the ball against them. I think we can run it against them. I just want our kids to do what we do and, you know, hold on to the football. We've been doing that. We've been holding on to football. I just don't want to get greedy and throw it deep. You know, kind of running into a different defense than Benedictine's, but it's kind of the same philosophy. Is they're going to play everybody deep, not let you have any big plays, and they don't think that you'll have the patience enough to move down the field and pick them apart. So if we can just do that, do what we do in practice, and take that to the game field. But I'm telling you, we're going to pull out the whole bag of tricks to do it. That's what it's for. That's what high school football is for today. We had a good time at practice, at the end of practice today, doing some things. If the time comes for that, you know, we'll do it. Like I said, you know, I don't want anybody to get upset with me, but we're coming to win. We're going to win. We're not going there to just put up a fight or compete or anything like that. We want to get that mentality out of here. We're going to win in everything that we do. So we're going to pull out all the stops on offense and defense, you know, and compete at the best level as we can and win. That's what we want to do. But definitely they got some horses, good coaching staff. I think, to me, watching them on film, I watched them last year against Bacon, watching them this year and all the films that we have. I heard they lost a lot of seniors. To me, they're a lot better football team this year than they were last year. It's not even the same team. They look so much better, especially offensively to me. You know, they've changed it to the wing team, got that quarterback back there, and he can break one at any time. So they got athletes all over the field, and they can do some damage. So,
well, watching what stuck in my mind, the interviews with Benedictine's coaches, he said we didn't stay disciplined throughout the second half of the game.
Right.
We weren't disciplined. I think that's going to be a key in our. We
Yeah.
got to stay. I know on defense with that buck sweep and all that.
well, it's going to come. You know, when they run that buck or that power at us, it's going defensively for us. It's going to be manning up and doing it the whole game for 48 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you're not going to be on defense that long. But if we don't do something on offense, you may. And you know, it's the same thing offensively. Just do the little things right. And, you know, big plays will happen. We got some playmakers, but let's don't stretch it out too much to where we feel like we got to do it every time. It'll happen.
Right.
Some things will break open and they'll have a breakdown or something like that. We just need to do what we've been doing the past few weeks and have a good time. And that's one thing I've learned about these kids right here is when I'm yelling a whole lot on a Friday because I'm stressed out, they don't play as well. And it's driving Coach Kiner crazy too because he's the same way I am. And it's driving me crazy that they're listening to this music and they kind of got a smile on their face and I'm thinking they're not serious or focused, and they are. But it's amazing to watch these kids once, you know, we go down there, they're about the game. They're focused on the game and going in the locker room, past 3 weeks it's been dark, and I haven't had to say one word. Those kids talk to one another. They're talking about the game. They're getting each other hyped to go out there. There's not a pregame speech I can say anything I hadn't already said. They need to do that. It's up to them. As Coach Langford says, the hay's in the barn. It's done. And, they ain't no more working. We can adjust, but the coaching's done.
Well, this past Friday night, I think what impressed me, it was, I guess, about 5 o'clock before anybody got there. The players all went on their own out there around that BC and had prayer meeting within themselves and talked. I was impressed with that. So
Yeah.
I saw a lot of growing up this year with leadership.
Yeah, I'd love to take credit for that, but it wasn't me. The kids said something about that happened in the past. So, there's nothing wrong with that. The seniors got their senior night, so the seniors got to go out there around the BC and speak their mind. We've done that at FCA camp before. You don't have to speak. You don't have to do that. But I didn't even go over there to them. I didn't want to hear what they were saying. That was between them and the other team. So we went over there and sat on the bench. They gathered around the BC right there, and I thought, this is the last time guaranteed that you're going to be able to play in this stadium. We want to go out with a winning record right here, and we did, and make it proud. But make sure that you living in this moment right here, and that you get out anything, because some of you seniors, y'all ain't ever going to get to play this game again. Right. Nothing's guaranteed in life, so very proud of them. And like I said, I don't know what was said. I think they had a good time with it right there, and they were focused, and it showed Friday. So very proud of them.
All right, the overwhelming question I've had, Coach, and we'll finish up with this, was if we're to beat Vidalia, that puts kind of a three-way logjam up there. What is the region rule on this? What's the tiebreaker?
Well,
what was that breakdown?
Yeah, I've been asked that too. I hadn't gotten with Coach Thompson yet, our AD. Every region is a little bit different. Last year when I was at Cook, we had a three-way tie for third and fourth. Right. And there's a mini playoff. There's not a mini playoff for first and second, okay, or third. That would be 3 teams that would, if we win and we win out, the next 2 games after that, it'd be, a three-way tie with one region lost if everybody else won out. Then they're talking about Benedictine and Vidalia. Now, it could be to where the region had decided, the region meeting was way before I got here in January. Mm-hmm. So they decided all that stuff before I got here, and nobody ever told me. But it could be double-A opponents. In some regions, that's what it is, okay? Double-A opponents, did you win? If you beat a double-A opponent and we didn't play another double-A opponent in our non-region schedule, right, then that person would be ahead of us, okay? If they played a double-A opponent and we played one but we lost and they won, they would be ahead of us. So it kind of comes to that. There's little tiebreaker sections right there. Then it could be points scored, coin flips. I hate coin flips. I'm terrible at the coin flips. Lost 2010 Buford game on a coin flip, losing that at home. I never forgot that one. So it depends on what the region wants to do, and it's all the coaches right there with the region secretary, and I don't know what that is yet. I won't start worrying about that until we can pull out something maybe Friday night, and then we'll start checking on that. But like I said, you still got 2 more games after that.
Right.
So I'm kind of that one guy, that's one game at a time. I hate to get ahead of myself on anything, but I would definitely ask if we win that game Friday. I'd definitely ask him and find that out, but just don't know yet.
We got to take care of business Friday night
right,
first, and then the rest of the year too. But that's just a question I've been asked a lot of. So.
Right.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck Friday night, and we again implore you to come to Vidalia Friday night and back these guys up. I mean, it was good hearing the crowd Friday night. The student section was back on top of it again. The band was doing a good job. I mean, I can't explain how well they respond to that when you're into it on the game or in the stand. So, again, if you can, Friday night, 7:30 Vidalia, show up and we'll be ready to play football. Coach, we'll do it again this time next Monday.
Amen. Go Raiders.